Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Ian Worrell. He is author of 4 novels. No Remorse, No Regret is his latest novel. We'll talk about this and all the other ones, and and much more. Learn much more from him. Welcome to the show, Ian.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Ian. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll learn from you how to craft gripping thrillers with powerful female protagonists. We'll talk about all that. But before that, Ian, if you can tell us a bit about your journey, your background, so that the audience knows who they are listening to.
Well, I started writing a few years ago, and I got into it because I was working a couple of jobs and stuff like that. So I decided, like a lot of people, I already had the idea. I want to write a book. And then I just decided, well, instead of just thinking or talking about I wanted to write a book, I just got onto it and kept doing various different drafts and revisions of the book until I finally got it out and self-published it. That was the first book, No Remorse, No Regret. That was basically the background for getting into writing.
Right. Now, help us understand why a lot of you talk about justice, revenge, remorse, and all these things. So why this genre? Does it sell much more than any other genres? Help us understand this. A lot of people who are yet to decide about which genre they want to write on, they may want to be understanding the intricacies of why you chose this particular line.
A lot of it's just write the genre that you want to write in, that you enjoy reading, and stuff like that. And I got to use the female protagonists. If you see a lot of those vigilante justice books, or it's always some former special forces guy or covert spy operative guy whose wife or daughter gets kidnapped. He goes psycho, mows down all the bad guys single-handedly. So I figured, instead of having it always being the guy taking revenge, I figured I'd use the female character to take her own revenge. That's why I did that character.
Right. So revenge is so powerful that you want to take the law in your hand. Is it nowadays with the female protagonist? And let's talk about your book, No Remorse, No Regret. You have a female protagonist here, and it is all about, again, justice at this point in time. What does a female protagonist here signify? Do you want to bring out the changing times that we live in, or is it much more beyond what we understand?
It was just basically to do something different, not always have it as a male character taking revenge. Just wanted to have the female character take revenge, not because it's all every movie or book you read about that, it's almost always like the male character, and then you read stuff like and the girl with the dragon tattoo and stuff.
Right. And how do you build these characters? Is it so easy? Is it very difficult? Someone who wants to write on these things, how do they go about planning for creating such characters? Is it an easy thing? How did you do it for yourself? How can others do it? Is there a process to it? What is your process, Ian?
Well, when I first started, I was what they call a discovery writer or a pantser. So I just kept going with it as let the story flow out of me as it comes. And then I go through like various different revisions, like the internal dialogue. Like if you see in characters in books, the internal thoughts are in italics, and I do like a show versus tell type of revision. Like instead of like saying a character is I'm angry, you show them like really shouting or cursing or swearing or slamming doors or their fists or something like that. And I keep going through it. Now I'm doing a lot more into the planning a little bit more. I use some characters like the Sasha Black books. You ever hear from the Rebel author? She has got a bunch of great craft books, like 8 Steps to Side Characters, 10 Steps of Hero, and 13 Steps to Evil. So I've been using that for a lot of my other books.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So when you create such characters, what do you have in mind? Is it the market?
Yeah.
Is it just the readers to help them understand these things better? How does it work for you?
When I first got into it, I wasn't really thinking of writing to market. I just write the book that I wanted to read and then see how it goes. And I've just been developing the character as I went through the story. And
Right.
yeah,
As a writer, you are also a part of society. When you
yes.
create such characters, what is it that you want to? Uh, what is more in on your mind? That finally justice has been done, that the wrongdoers have been punished through, especially female protagonists. Also,
Uh,
is it that you are showing also the loopholes in the criminal justice system in the times that we live in, and that justice is not possible in normal life?
well, like a lot of people, and when they're watching action movies or reading action books, everybody likes to see the bad guys get their comeuppance, and so I'm really just trying to write a book that people can enjoy reading and have fun reading, just basically escapist entertainment. I'm not really trying to make any type of political statement with my writing.
Right, right. Tell us a bit about this character. See, when you talk about vigilant justice or anything, people understand that. But beyond that, to understand the characters, you need a lot of, you need, or to create interest in that character, you need to create a lot of interest within the character. You need to build a life of a character where people can, because you can have the gun, go and shoot. That will not simply, interest anyone. How do you create that complex life or complexities around the character so that people are interested in, and not just the female character protagonist, but also the antagonist? Do you how have you portrayed the antagonist in this particular novel of yours? No remorse, no regret.
The antagonist would be like the serial killer. Like he resurfaces. Melissa at the start she was a surviving victim of a serial killer, and then she inadvertently survives because the uh, head of the Russian mafia accidentally rescues her because he took her the bag she was stuffed in as a shipment of dope, and he trains her and stuff. As far as the antagonist portrays, that like in a lot of the books, you have to have the character have a soul scar, like what caused them to get there. They can't just be
Right.
like the typical villain, like the mustache twirling, wah type of thrill. They're like, because nobody ever gets born evil. Generally, what was their journey to get them to where they were. So,
Right. What about, when you have a female protagonist? What is their outlook towards, towards blood? Having movies without showing any blood, having anything. But in this novel of yours, how have you portrayed that part of a woman is a woman? They look at it things, a bit more from the softer side. How what is their understanding of blood when it actually you are the person who is shedding the blood, whoever it is?
about after 10 years of being a contract killer and vigilante, she's pretty much desensitized to it, and so it's like just has a job to do, and so she does it. So
Right, right. And why do you bring about this no remorse, no regret? Uh, Generally, people do have a mission. If it is justice, then you do the justice part, and later on, you think your mission is over, and then you get on with your life. You have those feelings like a common person. Why have you emphasized on this no remorse, no regret part? Is it about the mindset of the contract killer, or is it about the larger thing that, okay, justice has to be done, there has to be no remorse, no regret?
uh, pretty much like, yeah, there just has to be justice, just has to be done. So he compartmentalizes her feelings. In part of it, in part of the book, she's like a heavy alcoholic, and she has to recover from that in the next book and stuff.
Right, right. Tell us about your other books also. This is about, Russian mafia based
Yeah.
in Russia. I have not read the book. you would be able to tell us. So tell us a bit about this book, more about this book of yours, and also
Yeah.
about the other novels that you have written, all about no rest for the vengeful, no mercy for the guilty, and no retreat for justice. Tell us a bit about those books.
Well, it's actually loosely based in a fictional city in Florida called Davenport. I got that from the name Bayport and from the Hardy Boys books. I read that as a kid. So No Rest for the Vengeful. It's the sequel to that book. Melissa goes into witness protection at the end of the first book, and so it's the Russian mafia is trying to find her to take revenge on her. There's another group that's sort of like a shadow organization, similar to like the Campus and the Tom Clancy novels. And so they were trying to find her too because they wanted her to work for him. Then No Mercy for the Guilty. That's the third book in the series. A kid finds a message in a bottle from somebody that's been taken prisoner, and so Melissa reads about that. She goes trying to find that person. And No Retreat for Justice is there was Melissa and her now lover. They try to take down people who do racially motivated attacks, like racially motivated terrorist attacks.
Right, Ian. What about the research part? If it's something historical, you go and visit those places. But what about these sort of novels? What about the intricacies of law? What about authenticity? Things from from a scene of crime, from so many other perspectives. How do you do that research? Do you have a previous sort of an idea about these things, or for every novel you have to meet a lot of people? How much time does it take for the research?
Not too much. I've had supervisors who were ex-RCMP officers, so they were able to give like technical advice on police and how they would actually do it. Like one instance, there was like a drug dealer got killed, Melissa killed, and one of the cops were saying, "Well, somebody saved the taxpayers a lot of money," and every cop said, "Yeah, that banter would happen amongst the police." I was on that, and there's also like a lot of various different Facebook groups, like the Writer Detective or something that you can get advice from, like if you need any question you have, or that's the trusty old Google search to find what you need to know for the information. Like during the writing, like the first drafting stage, you just put a note, need to research this, need to research this, need to research that, and then when you go do the revisions, that's when you do the research on it.
Right, yeah, right. Nowadays, there is this whole, true crime is on the rise in terms of podcasts.
Yeah.
In terms of crime fiction, also, it seems to be on a rise. Lot of writing, and now with the female protagonists. And at the same time, if I see a lot of talk on spirituality and almost like non-violence is also very much on the rise. So on one side, there is this whole talk about spirituality. On the other side, true crime and crime fiction and all these things people seem to be much more interested in. How do you see these two sides, rising at the same time? Does it indicate something, or is it just coincidence?
My guess is probably just coincidence. Like the crime fiction is it's just entertainment for people, escapist entertainment. Like the true crime, I would not really sure. Like some people would like to see how things happen beyond what they read in the newspapers or saw on like the TV newscast. And as far as spirituality, I guess people just not sure why people would get into that. They probably just want a different connection from everything today, from the commercialism or something, that maybe.
Right, Ian. There is much to learn about, especially about crime fiction from you, Ian. And I'm sure a lot of people would want to learn more about you, from you, about your books, especially No Remorse, No Regret. So what is the best way for them to connect with you, Ian?
Probably I have my author blog, ianworrellauthor.com. And I also have my YouTube channel where I do some writing advice, which is, I call myself the gray-haired writer. And also on TikTok, that's my main social. Those are two main social media things I just found that I really enjoy making videos.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.